Western and Central Europe are unique Eurasian territories where seasonal temperatures change from west to east instead of changing from north to south. The zero isotherm of January, the line east of which the Earth freezes in winter, runs approximately along the meridian of Berlin from the Baltic Sea to the Arctic. It's warmer to the west of this line and colder to the east. If a single economic model is used west and east of this line, then subsidies are needed to equalize the standard of living of the population in the eastern part of Europe. It is these subsidies that Poland is fighting for in Brussels. It is the reduction of these subsidies that has led to a significant drop in living standards in the Baltic republics in recent years. Until 2014, Ukraine had an alternative economic model to that of the European Union. As part of the transition to the EU model, Ukrainian government was hoping to receive subsidies comparable to those received by Poland in the late 80s and other Eastern European countries and Baltic states in the 90s, but this was denied to Ukraine. The old economic model relied on additional profits from the sale of products to Russia and other former Soviet republics in which the climate is even harsher than in Ukraine. Russia stated that the abolition of the customs border with the European Union automatically means the emergence of a customs barrier for Ukraine, which sharply reduces the profitability of the Ukrainian economy, but this argument was considered unimportant in Brussels. The economic culture of Ukraine has relied for many centuries on a very close connection between the city and the village. A significant part of the urban population had close relatives in the villages, the supply of their own products, the use of local markets, and personal farms. The adoption of EU rules in a short time practically destroyed the system because it did not fit into the European standards. Moreover, since the production of agricultural products in the warmer European countries is cheaper, this would have inevitably led to the destruction of the existing Ukrainian agricultural system, not dissimilar to what happened in Moldova, Bulgaria, and other southern countries of Eastern Europe. And this, in turn, would have led to a sharp increase in the cost of living for a significant part of the country's population. In addition, the unconditional requirement of the European Union was permission to sell land into private hands, and Ukrainian leadership at the time believed that this was dangerous in terms of ecology and land quality control. The events after 2014 have confirmed these dangers. The land was bought by foreign companies, which used it to grow industrial crops, which in turn led to soil deterioration. Most of Ukraine's industry was built within the framework of technological chains that relied on Russia. This industry is now uncompetitive within the framework of the Western labor division system. A sharp change in the economic model would have led to the rapid destruction of the entire technological complex of southern and eastern Ukraine, which would have inevitably led to serious socio-political consequences. In fact, we see that after Yanukovych was overthrown, all these fears were realized. The socio-political explosion in the east and south led to the division of the country long before the start of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and Ukraine, as an economically self-sufficient state, has ceased to exist. Thus, we can say with absolute certainty that the government of President Yanukovych had very valid and objective reasons to postpone the discussion of associating Ukraine with the European Union. One of the main riches of Ukraine is its agricultural lands, mainly Chernozems, otherwise known as black soil. Almost a third of the world's Chernozem, the best soil for agriculture, is located on the territory of Ukraine. But an analysis of the ownership structure of this land shows that it actually belongs to private companies from the United States. In March 2021, under pressure from the IMF and thanks to the efforts of Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, an unpopular among the Ukrainian people land reform was launched, which opened loopholes for foreigners to buy up Chernozems. At the end of May 2022, the Australian National Review published a high-profile publication entitled 3 Large American Multinationals Bought 17 Million Hectares of Ukrainian Agricultural Land. The Australian newspaper reported that 3 large multinational corporations with headquarters in the United States bought 17 of the 62 million hectares of Ukrainian agricultural land, almost a third of all the land suitable for plowing. The report is talking about the companies called Cargill, DuPont, and Monsanto. All of them are the largest players in the grain, seed, and agrochemistry markets and have opened their representative offices in Kiev at the end of the last century. It is noted that among the main shareholders of these 3 companies are the world's largest financial holdings, namely Vanguard, Blackstone, and BlackRock, whose headquarters are registered in the United States. Each of these holdings manage assets worldwide, the value of which is measured in trillions of dollars. The A&R publication draws attention to the fact that Cargill, DuPont, and Monsanto have signed an agreement among themselves and operate in Ukraine as a consortium. However, even before the creation of the aforementioned American consortium, agricultural holdings from a number of other countries had already settled in Ukraine, namely American NCH Capital, French Agrogeneration, and German companies ADM Germany, KWS, Bayer, and BASF. This makes us consider the true causes of the Ukrainian conflict and explains the persistent desire of our politicians to endlessly arm the current Ukrainian regime.